Hello and welcome to this video where I will show you how to create a software serve sheet for World of Warcraft. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your browser and you're going to type in softres.it. So that's spelled softres.it and you click enter. So this is where you will create your software serve sheet. Now you can choose between 4 different editions. You have World of Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic, World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and World of Warcraft Cataclysm Classic. And now for each of these editions, you'll have a list of raids you can select to create the software serve sheet for. So they'll be different depending on the edition that you select. So I'm going to just select World of Warcraft Classic. That's the game I play. And for raids, you get a list of all the different raids, and then Season of Discovery is also listed as an option of these raids. So for this example, I'm just going to use Blackwing Lair, the normal version, not the Season of the Discovery. And then you have to choose your faction, either Alliance or Horde. I play Alliance, so I'm going to choose Alliance. And now you have to select how many software servers can each character or each player select. So that's your choice. For this example, I'm just going to use 2. And then you go create. Okay, now the software serve sheet has been created. If you want to, well, obviously you need to share this information so other people can go to this software serve sheet and enter their software serve by clicking this link. So I click this link and it says copied, so it automatically copies. Now you need to share this with the other players. So, for example, if you're in the raid, you type /raid to the raid chat, and then you just post this. Obviously, I can't post it right now because I'm not in the raid, but for example, you'll post that in the chat like this, and then people can go to that link and they can fill in their software serve. So going back to the website, there are a couple of different things that you can select. Here, for example, you can see that this is set up for Alliance. The software serve limit per player is 2. Duplicate is allowed, and items do have class restrictions. Like the items that are actually class restricted, they'll have class restrictions when people are inputting their software serve. Because I am the creator of this software serve sheet, I'm automatically getting this view as the raid leader. This has a token. The token is basically a code so that only the raid leader can be in charge of the software serve sheet, lock it, and prevent other people from making changes. So only the person logged into the software serve sheet as the raid leader can actually make edits to the settings of the software serve sheet and to change other players' software serve sheets if they have entered them. You can also set up the raid date and raid time. So you click this raid date and raid time, and that will be visible to people when they make the software serve. Now looking at raid settings. So the first one is to be able to create notes in the software serve. If you disable this, people will not be able to write notes in the software serve sheet when they make the reserve. This one is item class restriction. So certain items have a class restriction, like the Might Tier 1 set for warriors. Only warriors can actually equip that item. So if you have this enabled, another player of a different class cannot software serve on an item that is restricted that they actually can't use. So to me, that makes sense to have that enabled. Here you have lists. You list how many software serves each character has, which we already earlier set to 2, so it's 2. If I want to change that, I can change it here. And then allow duplicates. So sometimes there's one item that someone really wants. Let's say you Blackwing Lair, there's one item that you want, and you want it more than anything else, and you want to use both your software servers on that item. If you allow duplicate, then the player can use all the software servers if they have more than one available on the same item. If you disable that, you can only use one software server per item. So you can't use 2 or 3 or 4 software servers per item. And the way it usually is the way it works in the game is that if you have multiple software servers on an item and it drops, if you have 2 soft reserves on the items, you get to roll twice. Highest roll wins, so the more rolls you have, the higher the chance of winning. Here you can also change how many soft reserves totally for the raid that can be set. So typically you will have it as unlimited, which means that all the raiders can basically, in theory, soft reserve the same item. But you can make that change. So maybe you don't want to allow more than 4 different players to soft reserve an item. Now, if player number 5 is trying to input a soft reserve, it's not going to work. They're not going to be able to soft reserve that item. So that's more like a first come, first serve kind of thing. And then the plus system, for those that use that, it's when someone gets an item, if you're using the system, you're tracking how many items of main spec typically that someone receives during the raid, and they get a plus modifier every time they receive an item. That way, if someone gets a lot of items, they get a lot of plus modifiers during the raid, and so it will tend to be so that the people with the lowest plus modifier will be given items. So it avoids one person potentially winning a lot of rolls and getting a lot of items. So it's a way of balancing the loot more evenly. Some people like that, some people don't. But you have different systems. You can get a roll bonus or regular, and then you have a plus modifier. And then Discord protection. So if this is enabled, the players will be required to log in with Discord for the soft reserve. So anyway, that's the settings. Now, if you wanna, when everyone has entered their soft reserves, you as the raid leader, you need to go in and you need to lock it. And you'll click this padlock button. So you see the padlock is open right now, so the soft reserve sheet is open. When you click this as the raid leader, you lock it. Now, the other players who are not a raid leader cannot add a soft reserve or edit their soft reserves. And this is when you would import it into your Gargul app in the game. So let's open it up. Let's make a soft reserve to show how that works. So I'm gonna write my character name. So Arcane Vortex. I'm a mage. My class specification is Frost. And I just want to make a note that'll show up. So I'm gonna write test. And for Blackwing Lair, I want the Netherwind Mantle. Let's say that's the item I want. And I actually want it really bad. So I'm gonna do the same item twice. That's how much I want this item. And you can see it shows up as restricted. Is class restricted to mage, which makes sense because, as you can see on this this icon right here, only mages can equip this item. And so if I want to self-reserve this, all I got to do is press this button, and it will be added to the below list of people who have self-reserved. So this created this window. As other people create their self-reserves, it will be added here, and it will be sorted in alphabetic order on the left for column name. So it will also show how many people in total has entered self-reserves. So as a raid leader, I can add more. I can add multiple. So let's say I want to add a paladin character. Maybe I'm adding for someone else who's struggling inputting their soft reserve. And I'm going to make a note there too. And I want these 2 items, whatever. So when I click here, you can search this way. It'll when I just click here, it'll show all the items right here. And you can select from them. That's all the items that will drop in this raid, which is World of Warcraft Classic, Blackwing Lair. But you can also go down here and you can look at all the items. These are all the items that can drop here in this raid that you can select in your soft reserve. So that's just for example. Let's just put 2 items in here and soft reserve. Okay, now that was added as well. Didn't actually sort it. So you gotta click that button. You can sort by name, or you can sort by class, or you can sort by different items or functions. And since I'm the raid leader, I can even edit and delete any soft reserves. Now, when you're a raider or a player and you create your software server, you can edit your own, but you cannot edit anyone else's. But as the raid leader, you can edit or delete anyone's. So maybe I want to edit and make some items inaccessible to software serve. Let's say we have a person in our raid, we raid every week. They really want the bindings of Transcendence. I only want this one person to be able to get them if they drop. That's called a hard reserve. And so if that item drops, it's going to that person, no matter what. No one else will be allowed to roll. And so in the software serve sheet, I may make it unselectable. I don't want people to be able to software serve on this item because I'm going to give it to some, or as a group, we're going to give it to someone. So you're going to use the edit hard reserve item. So I click this button, and then I go down here and I can click this box right here to select this item, and I can ban/hard reserve it. And for example, this item goes to Arcane Vortex. And then I will type the name, for example. The hard reserver is Arcane Vortex. Ban, hard reserve, and you can see now this is X'd out. This item will go to Arcane Vortex if it drops. So let's say I want to create a soft reserve, and I'm a priest. So I'm just gonna be a priest. I'm just gonna make a note for fun. And now I want to do Transcendence. So if I write in Transcendence, the bindings are not showing up. So let's do bindings of, yeah. So I'm trying to write it. It won't even show up as I'm trying to soft reserve it because of the hard reserve. So that way you prevent everyone from soft reserving this item because it's hard reserved. Now maybe it was a mistake. It's actually not. I don't want it to be hard reserved. I can remove that so it's not hard reserved anymore, and I can go back and actually now I can do the bindings. Interesting. It's not hard reserved anymore, and I can add that. Now for the final part, once your raid is starting, you will want to be able to import it into Gargul in the game, so you can use it to roll out loot. Well, you can just use it like this, and every time an item drops, you can search here. Let's say the Judgment Bindings drop. So I will just search here, and I'll see, oh, only Shadow Light has the Judgment Binding soft reserved. Maybe a couple other people will pop up. They also have it soft reserved, and I can tell them to roll. But the absolute easiest way is to use the Gargul add-on that automates all that. And I have another video on that. But if you click this link, basically, it automatically copies this text, which is what you need to go into the game. So inside the game, you open your Gargul add-on, which is this one. I have another video on how to do this. But basically, you go to the software serve. Let's clear that because that was an old one for a different raid. And because I clicked the link earlier, I can just paste it, Control V, and then import it. And you can see all the software serves that I'm making in this sheet has been added. And yeah, basically now I can use Gargul in the raid if I so want to. So that's how I do it. And finally, one last thing. The notes are showing up here underneath the name. So that's what I was making. The notes, test. Just it could be other text that you wanna, the different players wanna add in there. And I guess one more thing, you can make the software serves either visible or invisible for other people. So maybe you only want to see you as the raid leader. Maybe you only want to be able to see it. You don't want the other players to see other people's software serves. You can toggle this button on or off to do that. But yeah, that's basically how to create a software serve sheet, how to share it with the other players, how to set up, what items, if you want class restrictions, if you want to make some items hard reserved, and how to get the link to import into Gargul add-on in the game. So hope you found this useful. Thank you.